I am California of the past.
I am California of the past. I am California of the past.
My earliest Escondido memory was when I tied my black ballet shoes with a long ribbon to my chest under my clothes and carried them that way every day, probably for months. And why in the world did I do that? Because I had moved to Escondido at age 7 and I was so shy and terrified to start school in a new place. So I kept my ballet shoes next to my heart so I would have courage. There were no stop signs in Escondido when we moved here in 1956. Escondido was really a unique community at that time. It was such a mixture of bucolic wilderness and an encroaching city. The ultimate mall was across from the dairy, so you could shop and see cows. We lived on a farm with 5,000 chickens on land where Rock Springs School now stands. I had a wonderful and fun time growing up in what was a small town. In May of '58, my dad built a motor-powered go-kart with a Jeep frame for the local parade, and I proudly represented the National Guard on that occasion. It was a Christmas parade, and I wore my flower girl dress from my cousin's wedding. I felt very glamorous. I loved attending Orange Glen Middle School, and then my class was the first class to go all the way through Orange Glen High School. That would be the class of '66. Everyone knew everybody. We were just all one. We really didn't even notice racial or cultural differences, and we certainly didn't have gangs. I think now it was part of the '60s consciousness and that innocence that still remained. Everybody came here to the library to do their homework. To me, every night was like a homework party. We sat in the same spot I'm sitting in right now. I started folk singing with my friend Sharon in the 10th grade. We sang at churches, and then people started asking us to sing at service clubs and nursing homes and parties, and the National Guard Armory, of course. If they didn't pay us, it was okay. We would just put out a jar for donations and discuss Sharon's mother's impending surgery, which was chronically impending. I was probably most proud of my involvement in dramatic productions and singing at school, and I was voted most talented by my class in my senior year. That was exciting. I even crossed enemy boundaries one time to help out the rival camp. Escondido High School needed someone to do character makeup for Little Admiral, so I helped them out and did that in the name of the arts. Right after high school graduation, I joined the Dan Harrison Singers, I think probably the only professional group to come out of Escondido. We made a recording and we traveled out of town a lot. We sang in LA and Reno and Phoenix, and we were really lucky. What started to be a terrifying journey at age 7 in Escondido turned out to be unforgettable. I'm thankful for all the vivid memories I have of growing up in a town that eventually became a city.